Hello people, welcome to a new video today. So today I'll be starting a new series on NumPy. So what is NumPy? What is NumPy? What are its advantages over normal arrays and lists? Why people use NumPy? What are its advantages, etc. We'll know everything in this video. So I'll explain you basically how to import the NumPy module, its basic science conventions, how to imply different modules into the NumPy section, and different ways to solve arrays and lists through NumPy. So let's first learn what is NumPy all about. So NumPy is basically a Python library used for working with arrays. It has functions on working in domain of linear algebra, Fourier transformations, and matrices. So NumPy was created around the year 2005 or something, basically to improve the usage of and availability of arrays, right? So I just told you now why people use NumPy, because it has two main reasons. It increases the efficiency and also reduces the space and storage, right? So that plays an important role when it comes to data structures and algorithm, etc. So that, let's not talk about that. And now the third thing, let's understand why NumPy is faster than lists. NumPy arrays are stored at one continuous place in memory, unlike lists. So that process can access and manipulate them very efficiently and fast. So that means explains us that when NumPy is stored in such positions that can be obtained quicker, while lists go through different dimensions and different ways of storage, which takes time to obtain it and even increases its space. So basically that's the biggest major difference between NumPy than using normal lists and arrays, and that's the only advantage that is pretty much visible. Okay, so now we have another question: which languages work on NumPy, right? Basically, which languages can run this module? So I know across there are many languages, but I have come across C++, Python, and maybe even Java. I'm not sure, I don't know about it, so I will not say anything. So I'm explaining you this course on this Python. Okay, so I'm used to Python, and I've gained my whole control on Python language, so I'll stick to Python. Maybe I may even remove tutorials on other languages, but that's later ahead. For now, let's just look on to Python. Okay, so now let's learn how to import the module, right? So what we do is, we have two methods. We could either go to command prompt and you do pip install numpy. That could be done one thing. So I'll just show you how you do it. So what you need to do is just go and search, and you just type command prompt, just enter it. Okay, and what you do is you just type pip install numpy, and basically that should work. I'm not installing because I've already got it installed. And another method is going into your, if you're using PyCharm, this would work. So what you do is you go to your file, and then you go to settings. Yeah, just let that load. What's wrong today? My computer is a bit slow, I don't know why. Okay, so what you do is, once you go to your settings, you go to your editor. You go to your version control. Wait, I'm just okay. You go to, I'm so sorry, you go to your project, where you go to your project interpreter, and then you just see this plus icon. Just click on that and search numpy, and here you see this, it's the first one. I've already installed it. You will just have your information. Click on this install package. I'm not installing since I've already installed, and that would just take maybe 1 minute based on the speed, 1 minute, 2 minute, whatever, based on the speed of your computer. Okay, so you can see I've installed numpy. I've not installed many packages, just few. I've got numpy here. Okay, so let's cut that. Okay, so now let's understand which data types work on NumPy, right? So first, let me just import NumPy. So what we do is we just type import NumPy, and many people usually prefer importing it as NP, right? Because it's whenever you're typing a array, you have to always import NumPy back again. It's like you've got to type NumPy dot whatever your array name is. So that would simply increase more time, and that would just be irrelevant. So people usually just use NP dot whatever. So and usually your NP dot array, and then just open your brackets. And okay, so now let's not talk about this. I've just got a image to show you. Okay, so I just created this, nothing great. So array has basically works on these three data types, that is 0-dimensional, 1-dimensional, and 2-dimensional. I'm sorry, this is a D, this is not a O, this is a D. Okay, so these are the dimensions it works on. I'm sorry, not data types, dimensions. And it also works on 32 bits and 64 bits. So let's get into it. Okay, so now first we learn how to get a 0-dimensional type of array. So for that we just need to give a variable name equated to np dot. We have imported it as np. That's basic thing. So np dot array, we always need to type this array, and inside that we just put a number. That's it, simple as that. And this is a way of printing a 0-dimensional array. Okay, why did I not show? Okay, yeah, it showed. Yeah, that's a 34, simple as that. Okay, so now let's go to a single dimensional array. So what we do is we include inside it, we include our square brackets. Okay, so we just put another set of numbers, 34, 4, 5, whatever, 57 exact, and let's just run that. And here you go, this is a 1-dimensional array. Okay, you see this, you see it in only 1 dimension and with a certain list of numbers. Okay, now let's import a 2-dimensional array. Okay, so I'll just type this 3 comma whatever, 3 comma 7 comma 9 comma 12. Okay, and let's print this. Oh, that's an error. So what does this error say? List indices must be integers or slices, not tuple. So this error is faced by many beginners, because trust me, even I came through the same issue when I was learning NumPy. So you may also come through it. So I'll explain you what does this mean. It says that two arrays cannot be present in a single set of arrays, right? So you can never put two arrays in a single array. So what we are missing here is a comma, and after that comma also we have to again input into another array. So we just input our closed square brackets and run it. As basic as that, we get a 2-dimensional array. Pretty simple, nothing complicated. Again, I'll explain you why does this not work. So what happens is when you place, just let me remove this. So when you place this without commas, what it takes as two different arrays in a single set of arrays, which does not work in NumPy, right? Because it does not input it as a data, and it cannot understand what is going on through the input, right? So you need to always specify a comma. How many ever columns and rows you've got to always specify a comma, right? So this is just 2 rows, so I'm specifying a comma here. You do not need to specify comma here, and end it again with close square brackets. Yeah. Okay, so now let's go to the, I could call it sign and conventions of this. Basically, we'll understand how we'll input certain functions which would give us more information regarding the array that we have typed. Okay, so the first one is, let me just create a comment. Okay, just let me even reduce the text size. Right, our first one is ndim. Okay, so you must have understood it or not, I don't know, but I'll explain you. It means n dimensions, right? So what we want to do is we just print a dot ndim. So what this ndim does, it returns the dimensions of your array that you have given an input to. So what you do is you take your array's name and put a dot ndim, right? And let's just run this. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I did not put the closed brackets, my mistake. Okay, so here we have an array. Since I've already told to print A, so the array is also getting printed, and after that end is getting printed. So what does this say? It's a two-dimensional array, right? Basically this is what I was explaining you. This is a two-dimensional array. Okay, so let's do another test. Just remove this array and backspace. Let's remove this bracket and let's run this, and it should show one dimension. Here you see a one dimension array. Okay, so basically even if you put a single number, it would show a zero dimension array. I'm not showing you that right now. Let's learn a second function, that is let me just put a comment, n shape. Okay, so what does n shape does? Basically it returns the shape of the array. Okay, so let's try that. Print a dot n shape. Sorry, I spelled that wrong. It happens when you're typing and recording. It's really tough to record that time. What does that say? It has no, I think so. Just a second. Okay, I'm sorry, I just made a mistake. It's the function name is not n shape, it's just shape. So basically shape will return the shape of array. Means it will specify the number of rows and columns present in an array. So here we've got just a single array, right? So what it's specifying, it's number of rows, and after the comma there's nothing. It means there's just a single, I'm sorry, 4 represents its number of columns, and after the comma there's nothing. That represents its number of rows, means there's just a single row. Okay, so let's update this information, and let me just input another array, 2 comma 4 comma 5. Okay, we don't need to pay attention to the information in the array, and let's print this. I'm so sorry, I'm doing this mistake again and again. Here you see it says 2 comma 4. Just ignore all this. This was of the before thing. I just wait, let me just comment this and rerun the function. What is that? Sorry. Okay, so here it says 2 comma 4. So what does this 2 mean? This 2 means the number of rows that we've got, 2 rows, right? And number of columns, that's 4. That's here. These are our 4 columns. Pretty basic, nothing complicated. And let's now learn another function, that is, let me just input my column. This is our item size. Okay, so basically what does item size return? Let's check that out. Print a dot item size. Okay, print a dot item size, and let's run this and we'll see what it thinks. Okay, so what is this 4? This 4 means the number of integers in an array. That basically, what is item size? Item size is a function that returns the number of integers present in an array, right? So it always focuses on equal number of integers in an array. Means this works when the different arrays have equal number of integers. So it will only work on in that case, and it will basically simply return the number of integers present in the array. Okay, nothing complicated with item size. Yeah, and let's run another type of function. Let's say nd type. I'm sorry, I don't know if I got that right. Let's check that out. A dot d type. Okay, yeah, it's d type. Okay, a dot d type. So what does a dot d type do? Let's check that out. Okay, so let me show you. This is my array, and let's run this program now. So here we've got 4, that was of our previous thing. Let's ignore that, and this is int 32. So what this int 32 is means, it's a 32 integer type of variable, right? Understood? So the array represents a int 32 format. Okay, so that's simple. And why you say not in 64? because int32 works as a default type of integer, data type in NumPy. If you want to change that, you have a method to do that. I'll explain you that in my forward videos, so you do not need to take tension about that. Okay, now let's just hash this again. Let me just, yeah, I think so it's too much zoomed, right? Yeah, this is pretty good. I hope you could see things that I'm writing. Okay, so now we have got another type of function, that is what is that? End type, right? Okay, so so what I do is I print my a dot n bytes. Okay, here we've got a n bytes, and let me write that down here, n bytes, and let's run this. So yeah, it's basically 32 bytes of array. 32 bytes, nothing to explain you here, so that's n bytes. So we have learned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 basic ways to return certain inputs of our array. Nothing complicated. This was just the first video of array, where we learned what is array, what is its advantages, how we input array, and even make an array, I would say that, and run certain functions to understand more about the array. So let's look again to those functions. One was ndim. So what does ndim does? It returns the dimensions of the array. So in this case it's 2, 4. That means 2 rows with 4 columns. And shape, that's a dot shape. Shape basically returns the number of rows and columns. And yeah, that's basically that. And item size returns a number of integers in an array. And the reason why item size is used by only few types of array, because it should have, all the arrays in the input should have equal number of integers, right? And another function that we learned was d type, which returns a data type of an array, and n bytes, which returns the size of an array in terms of bytes. So this was basically my first tutorial video on NumPy. I'll be back with new videos on this, and I may approximately make 6 to 7 videos. I'm not sure regarding that. So this was basically input of an array. Please stay tuned with my videos, and I'll be back soon. Peace.